I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what's coming up on Chicago Bears Now. We got the latest training camp news and updates after day 3 of practice. We're also going to dive into the latest on Yannick Ngakoue and Emmanuel Ogbah. And Jordan Love in the division. Is he set to get a major extension? Lots of chatter on that. Going to get to all of it here on the show. Let's start with some training camp news and notes, as 3 practices now in the books. Still no pads on. That's not going to be until next Saturday. It seems like the defense is slightly ahead of the offense, which is expected, but not by much. All the reporting early on, and remember, no pads, not full throttle in, they're still kind of ramping up, is that it's been pretty back and forth, which I think is exciting. I think that's a very, very good thing. And, I would expect the defense to at least be somewhat ahead of the offense as a whole. But the fact that it hasn't been super one-sided, I think, is very positive and is good for competition. So that's a very good thing also. All right, let's get to some notes from the third practice here. Caleb Williams leading a 2-minute drive, which they always do at the end of practice, situational stuff. Drove him down the field. Cairo Santos banged in a field goal. Zach Pearson having the note here that it was a success for the first-team offense, including, and I like this part of it, converting on a 4th down with a throw to a DJ Moore. And, look, chances are in the course of a season you're going to have to make a big 3rd or 4th down conversion late in the game to keep a game alive. And so these little reps in June, July, August, they help for when the real situations come about. So that's nice. And remember the other day when targeting DJ Moore, Caleb Williams got picked off by Tyreek Stevenson. So you come back the next day, you hit a big conversion, and plays a big role in getting a game-winning field goal. So like to see the success and the situational stuff there. Next up, Gerald Everett back at practice today. That's a positive. Remember, he was briefly on the non-football injury list. The Bears kind of knew it was coming. He tweaked something in his training leading up to training camp, but he's back. Obviously not full throttle. They're kind of ramping him up here, but already back out there, so that's a good sign. Get to some other injury notes here from day 3 of Bears training camp, as Braxton Jones and TJ Edwards, who have been limited, they got more work today, so they're getting closer and closer to full throttle, closer to 100%. Noah Sewell's missed the last couple of practice, so definitely keeping an eye on that. Simba Webster as well did not practice, the depth receiver returner guy. So those 2 guys were not out there. Certainly we'll monitor that. Number 4, center competition continues between Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton. On day 1, Ryan Bates was with the ones. On day 2, Coleman Shelton was. Today, Ryan Bates once again. They're alternating days. It's pretty clearly a competition at this point in time. I think at this point, and Matt Eberflus talked about this, without pads, it's hard to gauge trenches play, so we won't get a great idea on that until Saturday gets here. But with center, it's kind of different because they're making checks. They're getting other offensive linemen lined up, all that stuff. So, there are things to evaluate with Bates and Shelton. So hard to know who has the edge early. I don't think you'll have a clear answer there until pads are on, and you probably at least get a couple of weeks in. But it sounds like both these guys are going to get a fair shake at the job. With Bates getting with the ones on day 1, I guess, if you had a game tomorrow, I would expect him to start, but I don't think he's taken this job and run away with it by any means. And then the play of the day here on practice number 3. How about a pair of rookies? Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Adam Johns tweeting out here that today's look for it from the Bears highlight reel play. Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze over the middle for what looked like a potential catch and run touchdown. And look, we've seen this since OTAs, since rookie minicamp, that these are not your standard ease these rookies in guy. Caleb certainly isn't. He's been named the starter since day 1. And I don't think Rome is either. And you certainly would have somewhat of an understanding if they had that approach, since they do have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. But this isn't an ease him in kind of situation. Like, he expects to play and play early, and he expects to contribute early, and I think the Bears have that mindset as well. Now, he's obviously going to have to earn his playing time, but I'd say through, 8 OTA minicamp practices and a couple of training camp practices, this kid's earning his keep pretty early. Now, is he ready to go out there and take over games? I don't know, but he's going to be out there a lot. I think he's already your third receiver. Like, we don't even have to have this fake competition with Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, etc. You've got your top three set with DJ, Keenan, and Rome, and I expect them to contribute and to contribute early. So that's exciting. Keenan Allen even threw out a quote like saying that he's better as a rookie than himself was, and Keenan was a great rookie. So if that's true, he said he was faster, better route runner, more polished. So man, I just think the sky's the limit with this kid. And I think there's something too, and I said this, that these two top 10 pick rookies coming in together, like, I don't expect Rome to be better than DJ or Keenan right away, but you just kind of feel a connection brewing with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, and these guys hanging out and building that bond together as they're going to be here for years to come. So I'm excited to see what this kid can do. Subscribe and join us every single day. Bears training camp updates plus other big storylines, news, rumors, whatever else is out there. We're going to cover it. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers ASAP. Very close to 95, so if you want to be part of that family, we would appreciate it here. And if you turn on that notification bell, that means you're going to be notified right when we publish content and go live as well. All right, let's shift to the latest on Yannick Ngakoue and Emmanuel Ogbah. A note on both of those guys and how it could impact the Bears, so stay tuned for that. But first, got to tell you about our sponsor today. That is Game Time. You want to go check out the Cubs? You want to go to Wrigley? Coming up soon. They're on a big homestand right now. How about the White Sox? You can get the guaranteed rate field this Friday for literally $8. Even if you're not a fan of the White Sox, that's just getting to a baseball game for very cheap. That's a bonus. Game Time's going to be the best app to help you do that. They got the best prices, lowest prices guaranteed. Bears preseason game as well. Check this out, as the Bears, they listen, I get it. Regular season is not cheap, right? Like, it costs a lot of money to get into these regular season games. But in the preseason, it's more affordable, and you got the best prices available with Game Time. So go check out Game Time today and get started with the Game Time app. Use promo code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off. If you're not wanting to go to sporting events, but you want to go to concerts, theater shows, comedy acts, Game Time's got tickets for those as well. Code CHATSPORTS after you download the Game Time app in your app store, so go search for it. There's also a link in the comment in the description of this video. Just be sure to use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off as well. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. Ari Merov with the note earlier today that the Dolphins are expected to host both Yannick Ngakoue and Emmanuel Ogbah, two players we've obviously talked about here on the channel a lot. This, of course, stems off of the news that Shaq Barrett decided to walk away, a player that the Dolphins signed earlier this offseason. He announced his retirement. So they're looking to replace him and his potential pass rush productivity, and they've turned to a guy who's been with them the last few years in Ogbah and Ngakoue. Now, Ogbah, through his agent Drew Rosenhaus, said about a month ago that he wants to return to a true 4-3 scheme, and Miami's more of a 3-4 scheme now. Admittedly, they're going to be more multiple with their new defensive coordinator. It won't be straight Vic Fangio, 3-down lineman all the time, so maybe he'd be willing to return if the price is right. Ngakoue has played in both 3- and 4-man fronts, so I think he's more comfortable with that situation, although I personally think his game translates more to a 4-3 at this point in his career. The point is I think it's pretty clear they're going to sign one of these guys. They're going to bring both in, do medical checkups, maybe put them through a workout, then make a decision. That could be happening as we speak. And so I just kind of wonder, where does that leave Ryan Poles and the Bears if they decide to sign a pass rusher? I know Poles said he likes his group and wants to see what it looks like when the pads come on, but if there's any inkling of doubt with what they currently have, then you may not be able to be as patient as you thought, because I think one guy's coming off the market, which then leaves just one of these two players, Ngakoue and Ogbah. And sure, there's other names out there like Carl Lawson and Marcus Golden, decent players, but I do think these are the top two free agents. So I want to know from you guys, who would you rather have if you could pick? Type YN for Yannick Ngakoue, EO for Emmanuel Ogbah. I've told you guys for a while I would lean Ogbah, but I'd be okay with either. And maybe it's a situation where you just get whichever one doesn't sign with Miami. Because when you look at this depth chart, Montez Sweat's awesome. He's been off to a good start in training camp, it sounds like, again, based on what we can gauge without pads. DeMarcus Walker was getting some reps inside today. I still think they like the idea of being able to move him around. Austin Booker, Jake Martin, Dom Robb, where do these guys all fit in at this point? So I still think signing a pass rusher makes sense. And again, maybe a potential outcome is you just take whoever Miami doesn't sign, because maybe the price tag of that player goes down a little bit. Like the Dolphins are kind of telling the world, like, hey, this guy wasn't as good as the other one. And let's say they pick one for $5-6 million bucks, maybe you get the other one for $4 million bucks. So we'll see what happens. I get Poles wants to see what he has. I get he wants to be patient, and I don't think it's the end of the world if you don't end up with one of these two players. But I would just hate to get into the season and be like, man, it'd be nice to have another vet pass rusher that we would have only had to pay $5 million bucks for. We'll see where it goes. But I like the idea of bringing one of these guys in, and I think one of them is going to be off the market any second. Okay, within the division, Jordan Love, is he set to sign a huge new deal? He is expected to get an extension. Brian Gutekunst said that Jordan Love will not practice until the two sides can get done the extension they've been working on that came in this morning. Look, there's been rumors out there that he could become the highest paid player in the NFL. That's a leap. That is a leap. I do expect this deal to get done pretty quickly here, because you don't want Jordan Love, if you're the Packers, not practicing now. As a Bears perspective, drag this out. Have fun with Sean Clifford in training camp. But, I do expect this to get done. The question is, does he become the highest paid player? Does he get huge guarantees? Because it's a very interesting situation. When you look at his only season as a starter last year, it was a tale of two seasons, man. I mean, first 9 games, there was talk of what are we going to do from a Packers standpoint? Like, Jordan Love ain't it. Is LaFleur the right guy? Which I always thought that part was insane. But the Love criticism was legit. I mean, he was sub 59%. He was turning it over a lot. QB rating wasn't good. He looked uncomfortable, inaccurate. And then I don't know if something just clicked in the last 8 games after the first 9 games, but completion percentage jumped. He was taking care of the football, 18-1 touchdown interception ratio. QB rating skyrocketed. It's interesting. It's like, are those 8 games who Jordan Love is now? Or was that kind of just a flash in the pan? I mean, I would understand a hesitation from Green Bay to be like, look, we're going to pay you, but highest paid player in the league after 2 good months? I mean, he sat for 3 years, sucked his first 9 games last year, and then he was awesome for 2 months. Is that worthy of the highest paid player? And look, I get it to an extent of like, that's the market, but like, if I was like, should it be that way, though? I guess is what I'm trying to say as I collect my words here. Like, should it just be, well, that's the market? I don't know, man. Like, if I'm Green Bay, I'm hesitant to make him the highest paid player in the NFL. At the same time, what you don't want to do is he balls out and his money goes up $5-10 million bucks a year. So, tough spot to be in. I'm glad I'm not making that decision. And from a Bears perspective, I hope the drama increases and it gets a little dicey out there in Green Bay, but I do think something's going to get done pretty soon. I want to know from Bears fans, and be honest, because I'm not going to be offended either way. I do think he's at least pretty good. Is he as good as he was for 2 months? Like, is that going to be him moving forward? We'll see. Do you think Jordan Love's legit? Yes or no? It's okay to say yes. I think he's good. Is he going to be the next Rodgers or Favre? I think it's way too premature to make that declaration. So, I'm kind of on the let's wait and see, but I definitely don't think he sucks. Like that's definitely where I'm at this point in time. But it's hard to know. I mean, we're talking about 8 games, and even in the playoffs, he was really good in one game, and in the second game, he was kind of average. So I don't know. It's an interesting spot if you're a Packers fan. Which hopefully none of you are, because FGB is the motto here on Chicago Bears Now. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications when big news, even if it's not Bears related, but it's in the division, is out there. We'll talk about it because it impacts the Bears. Go ahead and subscribe for more coverage.